Live, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back after this quick break, Dr. Sherri Tenpenny is our guest in studio for this hour and the rest of the next hour. She's hopping on a plane. Why is she in Austin? She's been having a health department debate at the University of Texas, was at another event today. We'll give you the inside scoop, the latest flu developments from the number one person out there fighting the vaccines and exposing them, medical doctor Sherri Tenpenny. Before I break, I want to tell you about a few of the sponsors. Well, medical doctor, Dr. Sherri Tenpenny, an osteopathic medical doctor from Cleveland, Ohio, board certification in emergency medicine and osteopathic manual medicine at her integrative medical clinic focused on allergy elimination, including treatment of children with asthma and allergies at Women's Health using bioidentical hormones and breast thermography. Her clinic has restored the health of patients who have come from 38 states and 8 countries. And it goes on. She's the executive director of the, well, I mean, you tell us your bio, because you've done so much. You were probably the leading person in the last decade exposing vaccines. You had a big debate last night. I want to get into that. I want to just sit back and let you tell the listeners the latest developments with the flu, the forced inoculations in public schools they've been caught doing, and then saying, oops, we messed up, the rebellion by doctors worldwide. It looks like this flu scam has really stalled, dead in its tracks. Dr. Sherri Tenpenny, you got the floor.
One of the things that we did was we created tools for people to get out and get active. We created flyers and small PowerPoint presentations, and we put them on our website, pandemicfluonline.com. They're also on drtenpenny.com, which is my website. And we've done just an amazing amount of things to get people active. And I think that there's more people that are asking questions and are being part of what's happening right now than ever before. I mean, 10 years ago when we started talking about all these things that had to do with vaccines, there was barely a voice. There was hardly anybody listening. And now what they're doing is more and more people are getting involved. People are asking questions. People are saying no. People are challenging their doctors. They're finding out that they don't need a pediatrician if they have healthy children. They can find other types of healthcare practitioners to help them stay well and stay out of the vaccination lines.
Going back to April, and I had said in January they're going to stage some flu hype because I saw the federal government and FEMA getting ready with local police departments saying get ready for mass graves, a big pandemic's coming. The flu makers were quietly gearing up. They knew this was coming. A lot of scientists say it's clearly been designed. Then we saw the hype in the aftermath, the attempt to make it mandatory in New York and Massachusetts. I mean, I know you're a scientist, a doctor, a researcher, a journalist. You go off what you can prove. But in your gut, is this whole thing staged?
I think that there is some staging to it. And what I'm really concerned about is the next wave that's going to come along. I think that these people, they pushed way too hard to get everybody vaccinated for what was known to be a mild virus. It wasn't any different than any other influenza virus that we've seen before. And they pushed way too hard. Now we're seeing some things sort of fall through the cracks. I'm real concerned about the stuff that's happening in the Ukraine. I mean, we don't know for sure what's happening over there. We really don't know what's going to happen come wintertime, when the Winter Olympics is in Vancouver and there's a whole group of people that are there from all over the world. I mean, what's going to happen then? I'm really concerned about the accidents that are happening in schools. These kids are getting 2 and 3 and 4 flu shots, that they get the regular flu shot and the swine flu shot. I'm super concerned about the flu mist vaccine.
Yeah, maybe it was an accident with Jeffrey Dahmer. Maybe that was all an accident. I mean, it's always an accident. If you or I injected a child whose parents were against it, we go to jail. But when they have accidents, oopsie, no big deal.
Yeah, and they always say that, these kids got multiple flu shots and they were safe. Nothing had happened. Well, you can't say that because you don't know what's going to happen 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years from now.
Well, we're also only finding out about mainly children that collapse and go to the hospital. That's what we found out in New York and other states, that they had done a secret inoculation. And notice the accidents are all with elementary students where they think the children won't be able to explain the story. And we caught schools denying they'd done it, and then later it would come out they had. So they're also lying. I mean, this is really creepy and criminal.
It very is much creepy and criminal. And it's like parents should have some recourse to that. Now, I don't think that the parents can actually sue the school system because they have to prove that something had harmed them. But I think they can go after the school boards. They can vote them out. They can show up at the school boards every single session that they have and force them to give them an answer. They can say, where is our money going? How much money are you getting, school board, for doing these inoculations in these school systems? And I think that parents need to be really, really proactive because this is just the first step. If they're doing this with flu shots, what's going to be the next thing? Are they going to inoculate kids at school with Gardasil?
Okay, stay there. Dr. Sherri Tenpenny is our guest. We're going to come back, long segment. We're going to go over the flu, Gardasil, the forced inoculations, what's happening in Ukraine, what she thinks is coming up next. But first, we'll talk about the debate last night, get some details from her on that. Hey, folks, this... Okay, I'm going to clear the call board for the next hour. Sorry to folks holding, but only vaccine questions for Dr. Sherri Tenpenny coming up in studio, 1-800-259-9231. DrTenpenny.com is one of her great websites. She's a best-selling author, medical doctor. She really needs no introduction. For over a decade, she's been one of the main voices out there, eloquently in a focused way, even on mainstream television and radio, exposing what's happening with the vaccines. And here to tell us why she's in Austin is Dr. Sherri Tenpenny. It's great to have you.
Thanks, Alex. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, we had a really fun meeting last night. It was sponsored by the University of Texas, the Libertarian Party, and a big group of people who actually said it was just great to have there. We had, to my knowledge, this is the first time ever that a public health department official, who was a Region 7 official, agreed to debate in a public forum the pro and con side of vaccines, and particularly vaccine mandates. So it was a really good meeting. There were a lot of people there. There was phenomenal questions. It was kind of a controlled forum. I mean, there was a set of questions that we had ahead of time that we were able to put together answers for. Then there were some spontaneous questions, and then we had an hour of interviews of questions from the audience that were really good. In fact, we probably could have stayed there another hour just asking all the questions. And the health department officials, they were really kind of backed against the wall. Not necessarily in a bad way, but a way that they really, for the first time, I think, really heard people say that vaccines are not safe, they are not effective, they don't protect you, and yes, they do cause harm.
Well, 2 weeks ago, we had the Dallas County Health Department head on, and he said, yes, the inserts say can give you Guillain-Barré or other neurological disorders. Yes, it can sterilize you or hurt your fertility. Yes, it can cause autoimmune disease. Yes, it has mercury in it. Yes, the nasal is live and can spread it. And I had people calling and freaking out going, we thought you were just saying this, Alex. No, it's in the inserts. The health department heads will actually admit this, but then the schools and the federal government are handing out fake info sheets, as you know, saying none of this is true. I think that backfired on them because now people actually ask for the real drug insert, and they're going, whoa, I didn't know this was going on. So it does seem that that they've ignored us in the past. Now they're being forced to come down off their mountain because doctors in Europe, doctors in Germany, doctors here, nurses are refusing to take it. Am I right in saying, because you're right at the center of this, Dr. Sherri Tenpenny, that this is really blowing up in their face? They tried this offensive to set the precedent for forced inoculation and for this hoax, this panic, and it's blown up in their face. I agree. And I think that we've done several things. One of the other websites that I have that I'm a co-developer of is a website that's pandemicfluonline.com. It's pandemicfluonline.com. And one of the things that we did that I think really made a difference was that we gave people tools. You know, we're always telling people to get busy, get out, get active, do things. And so what we did on this website was we gave people downloadable flyers, downloadable PowerPoint presentations, downloadable things that they could start back in August handing things out because we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming from, it's the annual flu shot every year. We knew the swine flu stuff was coming this year. And thousands of people were handing those things out. And I think that they were really taken back. I think they were blown back by the response that people have had. So the work that you did, the work that we've done, I think has really made a difference this time around. And by the way, I've seen major British newspapers with the health heads saying extremists, terrorists are handing out flyers. They're all over London. And I think a lot of listeners saw the success of our Obama Joker poster, making hundreds of newspapers and TV stations, and they really picked up on your flyers. And it's just been incredibly explosive. The people are learning how much power they've got. Yeah, I think so. I think that people don't realize that, you know, if they just take those flyers and they do things like, I have a whole stack of them in the back of my car. When I go into the mall, I just take them with me and I just hand them out to people. I don't even try to engage a conversation. I just say, here's some information I think you may want to look at. And just hand it, and you never know whose hands that might end up in. I've gone to little community workshops where they've printed out all these flyers and they have them there and they're handing them out to all sorts of people. So people are really taking charge. We had a big, long conversation about this last night at the health department. Stay there. Back in 70 seconds with the fourth and final hour with Dr. Sherri Tenpenny. We'll give you all the websites. Stay with us.
Radio Network.
Well, the leading fighter against the military-industrial complex, big pharma push to force Gardasil, hepatitis shots, flu shots filled with mercury on our children is here. She's been debating the health department at the University of Texas. Ed Austin, she is here in studio with us. Your calls are coming up at the bottom of the hour at 1-800-259-9231. Okay, Doc, addressing folks out there in TV land and in radio land, you've got the floor. Whatever you think is most important to talk about. I'd like to first hear about the debate last night, what you did today, and then what your concerns about this being a preparatory phase for something bigger this year or next year, what's happening in Ukraine, the good news that people are resisting, the bad news that the government's still trying to push it. Dr. Sherri Tenpenny, give us a report.